Hey y'all, I hope everybody's weekend is going well. So, I did 2 videos, basically practice takes, and I went ahead and uploaded them because I didn't really know what I was going to do with them. One was getting 12 views. So, I'm dealing with workers' compensation, and the only reason I actually got directly involved was because we're going to try to organize these thoughts to put it in perspective because we're dealing with 3 different parties here, possibly a 4th. So, incident occurs on the 6th of January. My company, who graciously, it was cold, was not a lot of work on the book because it was freaking cold, went ahead and just gave me that week off pretty much. 1, because of the weather. 2, because I was injured. Alright? Even though the urgent care doctor had in fact cleared me to do light duty, basically sitting. Okay? I wasn't complaining. And neither were they. And the HR said, we'll try to find something, which they did. So the following week, follow-up was on the 13th. That is when I received the prescription to get the ultrasound and the MRI done. On the 6th, they had done x-rays and it had shown nothing. So now we're doing the ultrasound because I have pain in my calf, the MRI because it's obviously soft tissue, and the reason why my work didn't really get too worried about me being off, 1, because the weather was shit. We didn't have a lot on the board, and it could have been just a minor sprain, and this workers' comp wouldn't progress into what we are sitting on right now. So up until this point, after the follow-up on the 13th, I gave it 24 hours. That afternoon, in the morning after I got done with the follow-up, I turned in all my paperwork. I know my HR guy was there. I know he probably submitted all of the information. Now, the weird thing is all this information has, it has all my info on it, and so, not trying to speak too soon or give anybody, put any kind of forced blame, but, so I on Tuesday, I talked to my HR and I said, did you contact the workers' comp to fulfill these 2 things? And he said, yes, I sent it in. Well, the company themselves did not contact me, nor did my caseworker, to say, hi, I am, aware that you have these, and you'll be receiving phone calls from X, Y, and Z, what have you, to set up these appointments. Okay. I don't even know who this woman is. I didn't even know her name until Saturday. So, this is now Tuesday. I talked to the HR Wednesday. They finally call. I'm sitting at the desk pretty much this whole week because we have orders, right? It's not a long day, but, it's decent. I got about 34 hours of work in, probably more than what the drivers got. So, Wednesday, I finally get the phone calls. We set up the appointments, scheduled for an ultrasound on Thursday, scheduled for MRI on Friday. Okie dokie. Follow up again on the 20th with the urgent care doctor. He has not released me from his care yet. So that Saturday morning after I get the MRI done, because I got the MRI late in the afternoon, I left work and went and got the MRI done. Well, that next morning, I called my mom and I was like, is it customary for them to leave the jeans on? And she says, no. I was like, all right. So I call my plant manager, and he used to be a paramedic, so I confided in him. I said, is it customary that they do MRI with pants on? He's like, that don't sound right either. No, that's what I thought. I know I'm right. I happened to mention it on Monday after the follow-up on the 20th to another one of our other people in the dispatch office who also served in the military, who served medical in the military, knew this procedure because we were in the military. She's probably had an MRI once or twice, okay? And she's like, they did what? But that Saturday morning, I had called my manager, who, constantly has his phone on, 9,000 phone calls a day, and told him I did not like the MRI tech's attitude and I did not like the way they had performed it. He said, I'll make note of that. I'll call my caseworker. And now I know her first name. Okay. But up until this point, we're on the end of second week, I still have received nothing. Now, I follow up again on the 20th, and the 20th, I get the referral for ortho after the result of the MRI, dictating. Friday afternoon, before I went in for the MRI, my HR guy went home with the flu. So the only person that I have for a point of contact up until this point is the guy who's constantly on the phone. Now, where all of this snafu originated, and from what I understand after I was spoken to on Friday, was when they submitted the claim. They didn't file it, they submitted it to this workers' compensation insurance. They had put all of my pertinent information that came from our employee database to them that day. Like, I got seen on Monday, it was in that day. They were putting it in as I was on my way to the urgent care. Somewhere from that email to my caseworker, my information got squirreled. I do not have a whole lot of faith in my caseworker right now, because what was informed to me on Friday was a sad scapegoating attempt to cover up the fact that her end of this situation fucked up. And it was predominantly because I went, full Sherlock Holmes and got all the information I needed, and then called her supervisor in order to get her to respond to this referral and get me scheduled. So it was the 23rd that I had gone through this rigmarole with the guidance of my mother. My HR is out with the flu. The other manager is balls deep trying to do the work of 5 people. And in the course of when I get hurt, and to this point, there has been 3 more incidences, cold weather related, slips, falls, and injuries that had required attention. It has been a fucking circus. So anyway, I am trying to contact this manager who I do not want to contact because I know how fucking busy he is. So I try to call him. He sends me a message, call me back. So I wait about an hour or two. He gets busy. He forgets. So I message him. text him. Hey, following up, has anybody heard about this referral? So that was, in fact, midday on Tuesday. He said he reached out to him and got nothing. This was on Tuesday the 21st. Wednesday the 22nd, I message him again. Actually, I asked, is our HR guy back yet? Nope, he's not back yet. Okay. So, on the 23rd, my mom comes to help me clean. And she's like, you should have something, some point of contact. I said, I hate calling this guy because he's so fucking busy. He's either going to forget, or it's just too much. I mean, he's got this whole company, fleet of drivers and you know what. I said, it's fucking insane. And so she's like, one, the workers' compensation should have already contacted you in regard. There's no reason why you should be having to go through your management. So, well, that's who I'm having to go to because I haven't received anything. So, let's backtrack to the second week. The schedulers contact me, and they are trying to make appointments for the wrong area of the state because the information that they have is incorrect. I don't even think at that moment to send my management and say, they got my address and everything all fucked up. Right? Nope. I correct it with them. There's two different agencies. I correct the information on both sides. I said, I have two different addresses, so let's clarify. We're going to use the one that my physical address, not my legal inheritance address, and centralize on finding appointments around that address. Okay? Which is different than what is on my driver's license. So, I don't even think that the information that these people got is kind of like a permanent fixture. I'm thinking it's like maybe it's a typo or some shit, you know, through the workers' compensation, right? Whatever. Like somebody hit the, you know, half of the address and picked the first selection and went with it, kind of thing. So on the 23rd, when my mom was here, I went super sleuth, went through all this stuff, found those schedulers, dug out as much as I could from them, wrote it all down, started calling phone numbers. Tried to call my caseworker, went to voicemail. I had already called my manager that morning, asking if he'd heard anything. So, still nothing. I'm still calling, you know, no calls interrupting. I call another number. Finally, I'm like, I'm just going to call the company itself. I get one of their operators. They give me extensions and some other phone numbers for this department or that department or whatever. And paper chase goes on. I'm still calling. And finally, I get one operator who says, here's a number to her supervisor. And I take that down and I save it in the phone. And I graciously send him a message explaining that I've got this referral that has not been addressed. It's been 4 days. I have contacted management, and to my understanding, my management has been contacting this caseworker with no result. So I need this scheduled because my follow-up with my urgent care is this coming Monday, because we are now at the end of week 3. So while I am talking to her, I said, there has been something going on and there's definitely a miscommunication somewhere. Well, she's like, let me start your case file. Well, she sort of started this the first fucking week. So here I am filling her in, right? She's like, so you're in Chattanooga? No, ma'am. No. She has not verified any information that has been provided to her. I said, I don't know who filed this. I said, but apparently they don't know what the fuck they're doing. And I did not put that blame on my company. I put that onto some unknown entity. I've never worked with workers' compensation, and I've never had to talk to any of these claim people. I think I talked to one a long fucking time ago, and that was just, that was weird in itself, because it was like after the fact. I was already back to full functioning at work. I was like, who are we fucking working with here, right? And I haven't had a whole lot of faith in that. Anywho, so I was talking to her, I was like, who filed this? How did they get that address? Makes no sense to me. I said, as a matter of fact, the schedulers, I corrected it with them. Oh. Well, apparently they must have reported back. She didn't open the emails. And if they didn't report back, then shame on her. Because that means she didn't follow up. Or, and there's definitely a non-follow-up entity going on here. Because had she followed up, she would have had the correct address and stuff would have been corrected. She didn't. My management has copies of every appointment, all progress notes, all prescriptions, everything. I brought it to them. They Xeroxed it. I brought it to my plant manager. He looked at it. He Xeroxed it. They've all got copies of all my shit. So I was talking to her and I was explaining. I was like, this is crazy world right now. Well, then she started getting really concerned about if I was working. I was like, when the weather permits, I'm working. Currently, they have me sitting at the desk. The first week, they were giving me a break, letting me heal. Might get back to work. You know, might be just a sprain kind of thing. I said, the second week, they got me back behind the desk. No big deal. Everything's good. I said, now, this past week, it was freezing ass cold. Nobody was working. And the reason why I'm off today, I think my plant manager might have had, you know, something to do with, after what he had seen on the MRI, probably felt it was best to just let me stay home until I get with this ortho. Right? Because there wasn't much there anyway. She did not listen to anything I said, or she just doesn't understand the whole dynamic of what it is that I do for a living. To understand how it is put kind of a strain on my management as to finding me something to do, because I am released back to work to sit on my ass. Not drive, not climb ladders. I mean, I can drive my own truck, but I can't climb ladders. And that's what I do for my job. I climb up and down these ladders on this truck. Squirrel all over this truck. So, trying to understand and give her, you know, the reason. I said, one, I don't know if it came from our end, because I know my HR got thrown into this position. This is not something he was hired for. I know he's kind of been flying by the seat of his pants trying to get everything put back together, because what he got dropped into was a shit show. So he might have made a mistake. I don't know. I said, but understanding how kind of, you know, meticulous this man is, I'm kind of in the back of my head thinking, no, it's too easy just to give basic information. You just copy and paste in an email and or the portal, for that matter. Something that, and even, well, my manager on Friday had said, we didn't even submit this in the portal. We submitted this via email. So that's even better. He's like, I was like, because when they used the portal to transfer the information, they fucked up. So when I showed him the address that they had listed for me, all the little pieces unraveled. Now, what I was talking to her about was the fact that my HR had then caught the flu on my second week with this injury, the day the MRI was done, and was not in the office, and I was having to utilize a manager that was like balls to the wall busy. I don't think she was listening. I think she was literally in her head thinking, we fucked up. So she scapegoated this entire scenario and put words in my mouth saying that I was calling my HR and my management inept. No, that is not what I said. I said, there is a lot going on and he's sick. Now, I said, they could utilize me and my other, Army veteran buddy that's in the office. We have admin skills. I said, with the direction is how this has gone, maybe they can create a job for me, and that's all I'll do for the company is workers' comp claims. Because this is crazy. This man that has got a phone glued to his head all day does not need to be tackling this. God forbid somebody gets hurt, injured, or goes on vacation. Right? And I said it in a jested sarcasm. She twisted my words. So my management had come to me and they were upset. And I was like, that is not what I said. And when we finally figured out the miscommunication element of this whole thing, the fingers point right back to the workers' compensation filing section. Here's where it gets fucking kookadook. Instead of this claims point of contact, my caseworker thing, right? Just compiling this silly ass packet of shit that most of it I don't even have to look at. I just needed this one piece of paper that had 3 options of orthopedic physicians to choose from. That's all I needed, was this. She sent me this other big fucking thing. Apparently, that big fucking thing was mailed on the 9th through the post office. Why? You know how I got it? Compiled in a PDF format to my email, along with this little 3-doctor selection that I had to choose one. Why did they use the fucking post office? She could have quite literally taken that PDF file and sent it straight to my HR on the 9th. And my HR could have printed it off and said, here's your point of contact for this. And or left a message with somebody and said, here, when she comes in after her follow-up, give her this. Right? I'm sick. I'm not going to be here next week. If she has any problems, she can contact this lady. Nothing. So, the only fault that I can blame on my company is they are micromanaging maniacs. And I do believe that they would have probably preferred me going through them, harassing them hour to hour, minute to minute, to get this stuff done. Of which, that is just pure insanity in itself. But the true, legitimate fuck up was on this caseworker's part, having not sent that whole packet of stuff originally to me. And I had to spend 3 hours stalking her, technically, doing private eye work to get the information, and then having to call her supervisor to get a response out of her. Because my manager had gone 2 days and had not contacted me back, and I had asked him every single day. I give those referrals 24 hours to process and get pushed to where they need to go. And after that, that's when I start calling. I at least give them time to work the system, right? And everybody wonders why I'm so fucking, frustrated with the medical system. Now, this isn't even medical. This is insurance. But the concept still applies. This is a fucking scapegoated, gaslighting fiasco that quite literally the inefficiency of what this caseworker has done has created a shitstorm. That packet should have been emailed directly to my HR. And my HR could have given me that packet, and I could have sent this woman an email. That way she would have my email, addressing all of this with my case number and everything that goes with it, saying, hi, I am the injured party, blah, 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 blah. Here is an update of everything that has occurred to this point. This is how they are handling it. I could have communicated with her directly without a shitstorm of fucking inquisitions of whether or not they're working me and if they're paying me. Yes, they're paying me. And if I choose to take time off because I'm injured and they grant me that time off without penalty, that is my fucking choice. This woman is acting as though they have to work me a full 40 hours. It's wintertime. Our jobs are contingent on the weather anyway. There's times in the middle of the spring we don't get 40 hours. 30. Shit, I've had weeks where I've gotten 18 because of the weather. Non-stop fucking rain. The principle of the fact is that this woman, they screwed up. And she's mad because her supervisor ended up calling her. Make sure that she replied back to us to process that ortho referral. There was another point I wanted to make in this, and it just escaped me. And it's frustrating. This whole situation is frustrating. But her contacting my management and putting words in my mouth, that alone was sketch. And then, so after I spoke with them in the morning, and they told me, and we shared notes, and we figured out where the fuck up had come from, and it was her trying to cover her ass by talking down on them, saying it was me, right? Someone could have communicated. Period. All around. The claim was submitted via email. The information went to this woman. This woman had, and they have my email and everything at the office. I'm pretty sure it was in there as all direct point of contact. No, this woman had never reached out to me. I had to get a hold of her. My management had the information. They had been trying to get a hold of her. Oh, her, I'm stuck in a snowstorm shit. Yeah. Yeah, I've been stuck in them too, but we never lost internet. Might have lost a little bit of phone service. Might have gone a little hinky. Little bit. But internet? Their email? Full operation. So, I'm not buying it. And I was kind of compassionate or sympathetic to the fact that, yeah, she was down there in the snow and something they're not used to. But the point is that what she did in contacting my management, putting words in my mouth to try to scapegoat me and to cover up her own fuck up. Yeah. And everybody wonders why I have white coat syndrome when I go to the doctor. I take my blood pressure at home, it's normal. I go step into a doctor's office, it's through the fucking roof. It's because of this gaslighting shit right here. And this isn't even a fucking doctor. This is a fucking insurance. So, yes. After a while, it affects you physically. And that's involuntary. I cannot control what my blood pressure does as soon as I walk into a doctor's office. But I can take my blood pressure right now at home and textbook perfect. This woman has got me so fucking pissed off right now. I'm about to call my management and say, call her supervisor, tell her she's fired, and get me the other guy. I'll communicate through him. Because now I'm pissed. Not to mention my mom listened to the entire conversation. She was here. Whoever this branch is, whoever they've got seating as my caseworker, yeah. She's very inefficient, and I am not impressed. That is all, y'all.